Yay, the kids are finally asleep.
So do you feel like...
Playing a game?
I've got a feeling a boss fight's coming up.
Ooh, I just got wrecked.
Headshot, baby.
Ooh, it's your turn to get the baby.
So are you up to the challenge?
Run, 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 run.
And we're dead.
That's when I realized I have no idea what I'm doing.
GG. Welcome back to the KJ After Dark Gamer Parents Podcast. My name is Kevin. I'm joined by my wonderful wife, Joanne.
Hey guys, if it is your first time here, we are gaming parents. We have 2 kids, and basically this is where we talk about the games and our parenting life. We also have a social media on YouTube and Instagram at KJ_after_dark.
And we also stream every Tuesday night at 9:30 Central on YouTube. So you can join us for a live stream, or you can check out the past content there as well. You can also watch the podcast videos there also, if that's the way you'd rather do it.
Do check us out on our Discord channel. The link to our Discord channel is in the description of our podcast and in our YouTube description.
Yeah, and Joanne, you mentioned Instagram, and I just wanted to point out that you have been doing a lot of World of Warcraft cooking.
Oh yes, I'm a WoW chef.
Yeah, using a cookbook that you have. It's all like the different foods from the game, and you're cooking like actual meals that not only have cool names because they come from the game, they also look pretty cool and they taste amazing. So you can see the pictures of the dishes and everything on Instagram, and she's been doing a lot of that lately, and I get to just enjoy the benefits of eating the food. And some of the highlights, like being that banana bread recently, best I've ever had.
Oh,
Firecracker salmon, amazing.
That was good.
Yeah, so many amazing good dishes lately that have come out of that cookbook that you have brought to life. So that's cool. Check that out on Instagram.
Right, thank you. So it's the Easter weekend, and here we are on episode 13. Happy Easter, everybody.
Unlucky episode number 13, but hopefully it's just a regular episode.
Funny. So we've been busy preparing the Easter eggs, filling them out with goodies to prepare for the Easter egg hunt that we have planned for our kids this weekend.
Yeah, this is becoming a serious tradition in our family. And really, it's only been the last few years since our son Dylan was old enough to like really hunt for eggs.
I will never forget how proud he was of his first Easter egg hunt, where he was like just so excited that he found a whole basket of it.
He loves looking for eggs. He's also super competitive. Now our daughter, 1.5 years old, who will be her first time joining in on the hunt, is also pretty competitive, and they'll just take things from each other, and this is going to be a pretty gnarly event with both of them in the hunt now, having to both look for eggs and share the eggs that they find, or
if they share.
You need to make sure each other's baskets are off limits, because they'll both just try and steal them from each other.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
We need to hire like a referee or something for this event. It's a big deal.
The Easter Bunny is the referee. Yeah, so we hope you all have a great Easter weekend with your families as well. If you do celebrate Easter,
I guess by the time the episode's coming out, I hope everybody had a great Easter weekend, enjoyed the holiday. Hope you found many Easter eggs, ate lots of chocolate, got a visit by the Easter Bunny and all that good stuff. Speaking of Easter eggs, I know at least for our kids being so young, we don't even really have to fill them with anything. I think we are putting some stuff in some of the eggs, but I think the excitement that they just have just by finding empty plastic colorful eggs is like just so cool to them. And it kind of got me thinking about all the different games that we play and how we also enjoy finding the secret hidden things in the games.
yes,
How that feels rewarding.
the achievements.
Yeah, I mean, even if they don't really provide you any benefit or anything out of it other than just the satisfaction of finding something that not everybody finds, or that was somewhat difficult to find or come across, like the Makoko seeds in Lost Ark, or
The journal entries in Outriders, which is the game of the week.
Yeah, we'll
Outriders.
talk more about that game later, but anyways, if you're a gamer, you know exactly what we're talking about, the things that are hidden all throughout the game. It's a kind of like a side quest or journey if you want to try and collect those and find all of them in the game. Usually super tedious, but kind of rewarding when you make some progress on that. So kind of like an Easter egg hunt. So fun watching our kids go through the Easter egg hunt and getting a joy out of that. So really looking forward to that this weekend.
Yep, I agree.
That's it for what we had on Easter. Like Joanne mentioned, Outriders was the game of the week. We streamed it the last 2 Tuesdays, so if you want to see the gameplay, you can go back and watch us playing those. The first video was a lot of the prologue. Yeah,
Prologue,
not that exciting. Was a little quite a few cinematics and all that, so that part's fun to watch. But then the second week was a lot more of the combat, and you get to see us really going at it with enemies and a few boss fights, and probably a little bit more interesting to watch. But
something worth mentioning though was that in the first video there was a technical issue with the audio, so you would hear echo in my voice. I guess there was like double mic turn on or something. But in the second video, it was better. There was no echoey thing. So just wanted to point it out.
I'll take the blame for that with the echo. That was mostly my fault. But yeah, we did get that fixed for the second episode of Outriders. So probably better to just check out that one anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, as we talk about Outriders, if it sounds interesting, check out the gameplay and see us experiencing what we're talking about. So anyways, yeah, let's go ahead and dive into Outriders.
Yes.
And talk about this game. So
I can hardly wait.
let's start off by saying it is on Game Pass, like almost all of the games that we've played up until this point. So if you have Game Pass, definitely check this one out.
Yes, definitely.
This one's good. I like it. I'll start off by saying that. So it is made by Square Enix, which if you're a gamer, I'm sure you've probably heard of them before. They make the Final Fantasy games, most notably. So they're generally very good in the world of storytelling and just overall just designing a pretty good game.
The graphics and cinematics.
And the graphics are pretty cool too, for the most part. Probably not as good as like a lot of Final Fantasy games, but pretty good in Outriders too.
Pretty good.
Very different story and combat and all of that from like Final Fantasy type games, but it is a third-person shooter.
Futuristic.
Yeah, it's more futuristic. You're not on planet Earth anymore. You've discovered this new planet, and you're trying to go through the story of helping the human race survive on this new planet. And without ruining too much of the story, certain people on this planet what they call altered, and they get
abilities.
kind of like abilities or superpowers, I guess you could call them.
Mutants.
And, yeah, basically. So you become one of those altered, and so you get to pick what class you're going to be, basically. And there's 4 different ones, and I'm forgetting the names of all of them.
But which one did you pick, Kevin?
Devastator, I think is what it's called. I forget, but it was the tanky kind of earth seismic ability one. So,
and you're melee, right? You're like close range attack.
Yeah, more like close range. I benefit more by having enemies within close proximity of me. More like defensive and keeping my teammates alive and as well as myself, and still dishing out a decent amount of damage, it seems like. So I'm happy with the class. Decently fun to play. Seems pretty strong. It feels like it's making the game easier than it would be if I had chosen another class. So why don't you tell me what class you picked?
I'm a pyromancer, I think. So you can hear pyro means fire. So I have the ability to control fire and attack. And I think I'm a range, like medium range, not like super long range. I have medium range attack. So pretty cool to see how I incinerate everyone around me and turn them into ash or immobilize them.
Yeah, I'm having fun watching a lot of your abilities, like all the fire and the way that your abilities are affecting people, just burning them to a crisp.
Yes.
And yeah, it seems like the pyromancer is pretty fun.
It is.
Definitely has a lot more range than mine. And I did look it up. It is the Devastator. That's the name of the class that I'm playing. Which is cool. Like I have like a shield. I can like block bullets and like melee attacks and everything for like a decent amount of time. And then I can knock people down and I can, I have like this heroic leap type ability where like you can target somebody and like launch yourself to them and pretty much one shot them there.
I love it when you impale them.
Yeah, you have like a rock impale thing you can do, which looks kind of cool, but it's not seem that good. I didn't use that one for very long. But anyways, as you go through the story and you gain levels and you unlock more abilities, you can upgrade your abilities through your gear as well. Your gear will like boost your abilities and kind of make them a lot better and do more of what they do, or
firepower.
Yeah, change them a little bit.
Armor, all that. So it's so funny, like how usually when we play like shooting games like this, it's just focusing on like the gear that you're wearing, and your weapons. But because of your your mutation, your ability, you also have like this whole skill tree thing going on that is super confusing to me. This character skill tree
has more depth to it than like most shooting games, because most shooting games, okay, you have different weapons that you can equip, usually at least 2, and you can switch between them. Here you have two main primary weapons, and then you also have a pistol, so you can carry 3 weapons. Well, you can have 3 weapons equipped at a time. You can carry a lot more than that, but you can only have 3 equipped at a time. And then in addition to that, you have your armor pieces, like your headpiece, chest, hands, feet. Anyways, you have your gear pieces and your gear slots too. So that's kind of normal to like any shooting game. But what's unique, I think, about this one is they also mix the spells, like the the magic abilities in with it too. Normally, you get one or the other. In most games, it seems like it's either like a combat game where you're using swords and spells and stuff, or it's a shooting game where you're using a gun and you're not like combining it with spells on top of that. So this one, I can't really think of a game that mixes it
Witcher?
Like this one. Witcher, there's no shooting. It's
right.
That's the other kind where it's like the RPG where you're using melee weapons and spells, which there's a lot of games that do it like that, but none that is like a
shooting
first or third person shooter where you're actually using guns and spells all at the same time.
What about Final Fantasy? Does it have that?
Final Fantasy is not a shooter though, so
that's true.
Here you have to actually aim and shoot.
That's true.
Pull the trigger, and then you have spells you use all in the same combat.
I see your point.
If you like both kinds of games, and this is just combining all of that together, and you really don't get as bored that way, because it's not like, okay, I'm tired of just aiming and shooting at stuff for hours, or I'm tired of just casting the same spells over and over again. Like, okay, well, what if you get to do both together and kind of mix it up a lot more this way? So, but there's a couple other classes they have in the game too, besides the 2 that we picked. They also have Technomancer, which is like the long range class, which I don't really understand what they do yet.
But they're like tech support or something, right?
Well, it says they're more like support and use gadgets and that stuff, but I don't really know exactly what they do other than that. But I'd be interested in trying the other classes just to at least kind of see what kind of abilities they have and what they do. And then the 4th and final class is the Trickster, which kind of seems more like an assassin. Like they're close range. You can like teleport behind your enemy and teleport back. Kind of more, I guess, stealthy. Get in, you do damage, get out, kind of thing. But anyways, happy with our choices on the classes we chose so far.
And I'm happy with like the how I look in there too. Like it's so cool how you can customize your look like most games do, I think. Well, not really in this kind of games. By look,
do you mean like your character appearance?
Character appearance.
Or do you mean like your gear?
Character appearance, because like most of these kind of games, it's like shooting games. They already like designed the character for us, like the one in Left 4 Dead or Back 4 Blood, or like even in Final Fantasy, you already have like a pre.
You're playing a character that's already been
Yes,
drawn up.
exactly.
They already have their own.
Like this customization is usually for like MMORPG games, you know, like Lost Ark or Warcraft, you know, where we customize. So this is kind of cool where you could customize your own character.
Yeah, I think in most games, even in like World of Warcraft, Lost Ark, even a lot of other games, I don't normally pay attention to like how my character looks. I kind of I just do like something that, okay, this looks okay, it's good enough. Like, let's get going. I want to get into the game. But with this one, because there's like so many cinematics and your character is in all of those cinematics, it's very like story driven, which is kind of normal for a Square Enix game. But I feel like I'm glad, I am happy with how my character looks, because you get to see them a lot, like all the time. Like anybody that you talk to in this game, whether it's for a primary quest or a side quest,
or even just to cross the bridge, remember?
Yeah, like it like cuts into like a short cutscene of like you talking to somebody. It's so every conversation that you have with anybody else in the game is like a short little clip or cutscene. So you see your character interacting with them on a much deeper level than you would in a lot of games where it doesn't switch to that cutscene.
And I don't know about you guys, but I get like super personal, like attached to my character when I see it every cutscene, and like after customizing it and stuff.
Really?
Yeah. It's maybe it's just me getting all emotional. I'm kidding. Go on.
Yeah, and I guess another thing around all the cinematics or like cutscenes that they go to in this game, whereas like games like Lost Ark, that just a lot of the story and conversation is just like your character standing there in front of their character, and you're supposed to read something, and that's supposed to tell you what's going on in the story. Whereas this one, it's way more entertaining to watch them have a conversation together. It's like a little short movie for every quest that you get to kind of watch, and then you get the story in that way. And I'm finding I never skip these because I want to hear what they have to
say.
Like you learn way more about the characters. Like I don't want to read a paragraph or two like every time there's a quest to like figure out what's the significance of it. Like if I have to read anything, I'm just gonna skip it all. But if I get to watch them like play it out and have a conversation about it, like I'm all for that. I want to sit back and watch that.
You're obviously attached to your character too.
I mean, well, yeah, more so, but it's because of the delivery.
Yeah, and also like the emotions of your character is shown in like when they're having a conversation with the NPCs in there, and there's a cutscene. It actually shows like your anger, your frustration, you're in denial. All that look is like in there, versus like in Lost Ark or other games where you just like press spacebar, and you're just like standing there looking around doing nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, even in like I guess I could also reference World of Warcraft since we played that one a lot. But like the quests in there, like I'm not reading the quest log or the quest journal. Like I'm not really paying attention to what they're saying. I'm just taking the quest, and okay, where on the map is it going to take me to? Unless it's like a cinematic, then obviously never skip those. Like I want to watch that. Like that's the way I want to take my story in. And this game does nothing but that 100% of the time. So I love it because of that.
Yeah. Although if you play it multiple times, like with different characters, and you might just want to skip it or not.
That's true. If you remember like a scene and exactly how it went, and you just played through these levels like a few days ago, and you've already watched all of it, and you want to skip it then, like that totally makes sense to me. Because you've already been there. You've already watched it. You're usually playing it again because you want to experience like a different class or a different set of weapons or something, and not because you want to go through all of the story again when you just did it. So that makes
also what I like about it is that it has like this kind of plot twist like right from the start
without ruining it for anybody, in case anybody decides to play this game, because it's not that old. It's like a year old, but
I'm just saying like plot twist as in like you did mention like we're in another planet, and then in the beginning Kevin was like, oh, it looks just exactly like Earth.
It did. Like the very first place you land looks just like Earth, except until you come across like the weird animals and stuff that are on this planet.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I
But
think
then everything changes after that. Everything changes. I'm just saying that, like, it's just that plot twist just in the beginning of the game when you play, you're just like, meh. And then suddenly it just, like, changes. And this is just in the prologue. I'm telling you, like, once you play the prologue, you will be hooked on it. Like,
just be careful which characters you get attached to, because they definitely do the whole Game of Thrones thing where they will pull characters away from you that you are starting to like a little bit. So don't get too attached to anybody. It's a dangerous world out there, and they show that in the story and how they write it all out. So definitely entertaining. Like you said, a lot of plot twists. It's like what, I was not expecting that at all. And that's not sarcasm. I know I kind of said that dully, but no, really, like there's a lot of times where like I just look at Joanne, because we're playing along at the same time, playing through this together, and we're like, no way, did that really just happen?
shock.
It's entertaining. I love games with a good story. It's always fun to get a game like this every once in a while.
And it's also fun that you could play it with, like, each other as a co-op. But even then, in the cinematic, it's just you. Like, it doesn't show. I mean, except for one time, I think. But most of the time, it's just me in the cinematic. Like as if I'm the main character. And
Which I kind of like that, because
Yeah.
that's more fun, because we
It
feel
is.
like we both feel like we're the main character, even though
Yes.
we're doing it together.
like
It's
how
not
we live
like-
our life, you know?
Even though like we all know Joanne's my sidekick in all of this,
Oh,
like it makes each
please.
other feel like we're both Batman, and neither
I'm
one of us
Batman,
has to be
you're Robin.
Yeah, sure.
I'm kidding. Anyways, so do you have any more to say about it, or should we
I
just
mean,
hop
we're
on
gonna
to-
say more as we go through
Yeah,
the ratings,
I think so.
I'm sure, but yeah, we can go ahead and jump in. So on the first category of convenience, Joanne, what do you think about the convenience of this game?
I would say it's very convenient. I mean, you have like, so every time you go to a new place, and they'll let you like capture the place with your flag, you know, and that's where your travel points would be with the flags that you've captured. So I think that's easy. And then every time we die while fighting, not that I died that many times.
I don't think we ever died.
I
right?
did. I did twice.
You can
I think.
revive each other, which we've done that.
You've
but we-
revived me once, and then I can revive myself once. So you get to revive yourself once, and then if you die again, your partner has to revive you, and you just technically revive like right there on the battlefield without anything being reset. You know, like full health, and you get to fight the boss again. I mean, like together, continue fighting, not restart fighting it. So
yeah, but
that
I think,
was
I think
convenient.
if we would have both died, then we would technically would have gotten like a game over, and I don't know what would have happened, because we've never had that happen yet.
You're so
I don't
pro.
yeah, I don't know if I'd say it's because we're really good.
No, I'm
the
just
game
kidding.
seems like really easy so far, and I don't even know
far.
what difficulty. I think we're like on the second difficulty.
I don't even think there's friendly fire. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
like
that's a
damage
good
from
thing,
friendly
'cause
fire.
I'm pretty sure you would have
It's clear.
one region or area, like they don't respawn, they don't come back, they don't wander around the level, and usually only like once you enter like a new area, you'll kind of like trigger, I guess, like this mini battle where
Yeah.
everybody like runs out and starts shooting at you.
Like little hordes of enemies.
So I feel like if you just wanted to like leave, you're in a safe spot and just like leave the game, you're not going to come back and be dead or something like that. So
Yep.
it feels like safe to kind of get up and leave at that point, especially if you're playing with somebody else that can make sure you don't die like while you're away.
Yeah, I know Kevin's got my back.
Yeah, I'm basically a giant meat shield that can't die in the game, so I just have like tons of health regeneration, and like unless I'm taking a ton of damage at a time, like I just regen it all right back, and then plus a lot of my abilities are like kind of defensive. So yeah, I have not died yet, but I got pretty close on a couple of those boss fights. And I'd also say the boss fights are really cool, although it has nothing to do with convenience, so I don't know why I'm talking about it here. But so far, the boss fights have been pretty epic,
Yeah.
I would say.
So can I give my rating? It's 10 out of 10 for.
10 out of 10 on convenience, okay.
I think
wow.
it's pretty convenient for me. I mean, I'm happy so far that we don't have like trouble going from a place to another place. You know, like
It's pretty easy to jump in, and you spawn into the game the same point that you were at when you quit the game. So I mean, the quests take a little bit of time to do, but it kind of seems like you can quit in the middle of a quest and then come back and finish it off later. and it's not really that big of a deal.
What about you? What do you rank your convenience of this?
Before I do that, the one other thing I would mention on the convenience is we've never like had to manually save or like wait to a checkpoint or that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's all
It's
auto
just,
save.
we're like, okay, well, are we done? Like, okay, let's just quit. And then so when we're done for the day, we just quit the game, and then it had automatically saved, and we'll join back in at the exact same point. So it's really easy to leave the game whenever you need to.
Oh yeah, and I do have to mention, like in our second stream of this Outriders, I think I lost internet connection or something. We got disconnected, so the stream stopped abruptly, and I was like panicking, like, oh no, am I gonna like lost everything? And then when I reconnected, I just went back into the game, and everything was still safe. It was like auto save, even though like you abruptly DC'd. So that was pretty good.
Did you actually get kicked out of the game though?
Yeah, I did. I mean, because it was DC'd, it just said like server disconnected or something.
I don't think that ever popped up for me. Like, I don't think I noticed that I lost internet connection in game. I only noticed it because the stream ended.
Yeah. Oh.
So I was worried. I don't know, maybe because I was host or something, but yeah, I didn't even notice in game. It made no difference. But interesting. So anyways, yeah, I've been dodging it, but my rating for convenience, not able to give it a 10 because I don't think it's the perfect convenient game for a couple of reasons. Just because like when you're in combat, like, and when you are fighting enemies, you're fighting like 100 enemies like at a time, where it's like kind of wave after wave after wave, and it kind of feels unrelentless, and it's like so action packed, and you can't really just like pause it or something. So I don't think it's perfect. Like, it's a perfect score for convenience. So I give it an 8 out of 10, which is still
pretty high for
far
you.
above average. That's pretty good for convenience. So yeah, 8 out of 10 right there. Next category on communication. Joanne, what do you think about the communication required in this game, and what would you rate it?
Well, because we're playing it together, I would say it is important, but it's not necessary, I don't think.
Yeah, I think we were even just saying that like one of us could go AFK and the other one can handle everything on their own.
Yeah.
That kind of just tells me maybe it's just because of the difficulty that we're playing on, but a lot of communication is not really required.
I mean, most of it was like the communication that you and I have would be like where the chests are, like, hey, I found loot here, come here, and then I'll go there. Or let's attack the enemy, like strategy wise, it's pretty straightforward. We know where we're going or which quest we're gonna do. That's what we talk about. But
or like even on the story, where if we'll be like,
yeah,
oh, did you catch that? So and so
yes,
is so and so, or like, oh, I wonder where they're going with this story. Like, we'll kind of talk about our ideas of where we kind of see the story going forward, or something like that. But as far as like the combat, like I'll occasionally say like, okay, I'm going in, you know, I'm like, I'll charge in there and like use all my abilities on everybody, or like I'll use my shield and like block stuff so that Joanne can kind of pop out and like blow everybody up with all her fire abilities. So there's a couple of things like that, but like not really necessary or like required on like the combat communication. And then like you said, most of it is just like, oh, make sure you grab this item that was on the ground.
That helped though, because the map is kind of big sometimes, and then you can tell me where the loots are. And
yeah, a lot of the like chests that give you a lot of the loot in the game are not right out in the open. There's like these weird side paths that you have to take to get to them, so it's easy to miss. You don't know they're there, so that's why we're usually pointing those out to each other. But communication not really so huge. So what did you think out of 10 on this one?
I'm gonna give it more than average, only because it's in a gamer couple / gamer parents point of view. Like, I think it's a good game to play together, and even though if you don't really talk that much during the game, at least you have something to talk about after the game. So I'm gonna give it a 7.
Okay, 7 out of 10. That's not bad.
How about you?
So I kind of already talked about what I thought about the communication, so I'll jump right into my rating. I give it a 6 out of 10.
Okay, pretty close.
Yeah, so still kind of the same thing. I think it's slightly better. I think it helps because the story is so good and engaging. It gets us talking
Mm-hmm.
about it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's some communication right there. But as far as the actual gameplay, I think that's kind of more of where it lacks
Yep.
on the communication required.
Mm-hmm.
And then how about the story, the next category? I know this is one we've already been talking up a lot.
Yeah, we talk about
Um,
the story the entire time. I'll be surprised if you don't give it a 10, but I'm giving it a 10. I think the story is perfect. I mean, right from the start. I mean, I know we're almost nearing towards the end of it because I read somewhere that like it's actually 40 to 60 hours of gameplay to complete the whole thing, and I know we've been playing it quite a bit, maybe 30 hours, I don't know, or less, probably less.
yeah,
But
we might have to go through with another class though after this.
yeah.
So
So I just say the story is really cool, like how the plot twists and how the graphics and cinematics and like I said the character creation. So I'm going for a 10. What about you? I'm dying to know why you're giving it.
yeah, so for the story, and this is just testament to like how much I'm enjoying it. I'm trying to stick just to like the primary quests because we only have like 2 weeks and then we gotta have to jump into the next game. So I don't want to spend too much time doing side quests. But because even the side quests almost feel like primary quests because it goes into like a short cinematic where you're talking to somebody about whatever is going on, and the side quests even feel it's not like, oh, go, help this old lady pick apples and bring them back, or like, it doesn't feel as like meaningless. It feels like you're going, a lot of the side quests even are like, oh, go find and rescue this person, or this person's missing, figure out where they are, or you're like taking down like a gang in the city or something. Like that's like a bigger deal. It feels more like a primary quest, like a main quest than a side quest. So like I'm keep getting pulled into the side quests for like even the little bit of story
Yeah.
that they're giving me, in addition to like the main quests, which are even better and like are really pulling me back in. So this one was a little bit harder. So it's not the perfect story, in my
What?
opinion. I think there's a couple other games where I enjoy the story more,
Of
but
course.
then those are also like Final Fantasy games. um,
Yeah.
so Square Enix very good at storytelling, but it still gets a 9 from me on the story, which is still really good. It's just not a 10; it's a 9. That's a lot.
Okay.
So on repeatability, Joanne, what do you think?
Um, I think this depends on your curiosity. Like I'm just in for the story and I love my pyromancer abilities. So I think when we're done with the story, I'm done with the game pretty much. I don't think I'll be like playing it over and over again, unlike Witcher. So I think that the repeatability for this it's pretty low for me. I mean, you're talking about like once the game is over, right? Or
Yeah, I mean, pretty much, how much can you get out of the game? Can you play it at length? Can you repeat the game over again and have just as much or similar amounts of fun in it and all that? So I guess with that in perspective,
yeah, I'll say the repeatability if I do miss the whole futuristic shooter slash spells kind of thing, then I'll go back to it. But otherwise, I would give it a 2 out of 10.
2 out of 10. Okay. Now for me on the repeatability, and it's not because of the story, because I get nothing out of going and playing a new story again, at least not like so soon. Like this game knocks out of the park for me, and I love the story. Maybe in a few years I go back and replay it and like dive back into the story again, but it's not something that like I would play back to back over again. Um, for the story, that is. Now, because they have different classes and it kind of would feel like a different experience playing a different class and going through it again, like I could kind of see picking a second class and playing the game as that class instead. I could kind of see that happening now just with the amount of time that we have to actually play games, and we're trying to review different ones and play different games together. That's probably not going to happen. Although,
Mm-hmm.
if we didn't have this podcast and the schedule that we're trying to run, I could definitely see playing through this a second time. I don't know if we'd finish it a second time, but I could see at least starting a second run.
I mean, if they're gonna have like an extra, what do you call it? Um, Downloadable content,
Expansion
like, yeah,
or something?
expansion kind of thing. I would definitely check it out, but otherwise, it would
Well, yeah,
be
because
just
that would at
there.
least add more story too.
Yeah.
So they come out with an expansion and that adds on to the story, and you get to experience a little bit more of this world. That would be cool. Yeah. So I didn't give my rating, but on repeatability, it's a 7.
What?
So
That's so different. Or between you and me.
yeah, and
So,
that's fine because for me, I'm enjoying the story and the combat and everything.
mhm.
But I think for you, it's mostly the story. So that makes sense that the repeatability is low because
Gotcha.
story doesn't repeat as well as gameplay and all that.
Yeah, so that's why I said it depends on how curious you are. Like if you want to see how different abilities or weapons and stuff, combat styles, then you would definitely want to do it more. The repetibility will be higher for you, but for me, I'm just in for the story.
Yeah. So last category is on fun.
Oh man.
What are you giving this Outriders for fun?
I mean, there's a lot of other games that are fun, like, but it's because this is unique, like other games are fun, like Witcher is fun, this is fun, Dark Souls is fun, Final Fantasy is fun. A lot of games are fun, but this one is just unique. So I'm gonna go for 9.
9
It's
on
really
fun.
fun
That's
for me because
not
it's
bad.
unique, kind of fun.
Yeah. For me, I'm kind of similar in there. We kind of talked about what makes this game fun for me is that it kind of builds together the shooting, third-person shooter, and the spells and skill tree and all the stuff that you get too. I would say it's not amazing at either one, but just the fact that you kind of get them both in one game, it makes it fun and appealing for me. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10 on the fun, so that's
Close enough.
That's still good.
Yeah.
I'm still really enjoying this game. I think if it didn't have either one of those, the spells side and the
Shooting.
guns and shooting side and all that, it would be a lackluster game. But just the fact that it kind of throws both in there and they're combining it all in one title, it's definitely a fun game for me. So I give it an 8 out of 10 on fun.
Fair
and just
enough.
adding up the totals here, I think we both came out to 38 out of 50.
Really?
I don't know if you added up your own at all.
Yeah, but then I had one that it was 2, and then yours was like 7. So I thought,
Yeah,
we
but I mean, you rated it really high on convenience and story and communication and fun, higher than me. So we both came out to the exact same score out of
wow.
50. But it's interesting because like we were not the same on any category exactly, right?
Yeah.
Repeatability, we were way off. Even like convenience, you rated it quite a bit higher than me. So we definitely liked the game for slightly different reasons, but we
And
came out to the exact same number, which was interesting.
That's okay, because it still kind of gives a gamer parent perspective, gamer couple perspective, because couples are the same. You and your spouse might be different.
Which makes it important to pick games wisely that both people can enjoy. So that we have quite a few on our list where we both like them a lot or the same amount.
Mm-hmm.
And other games, like Forza, that were very one-sided, and one of us did not like it very much. Or
Wonder who?
I mean, even Lost Ark, you were enjoying that one a lot more
Yes.
than me. So that's just vice versa. So you're not going to like the same game. So
Yeah.
experiment a little bit on what games you want to play together. And Game Pass is a great way to do that because you don't have to pay for full title to play it together. You just don't like it, move on to the next one and find ones that you guys like to play together. So
Yeah. Give
that's
and take.
best way to do it, in my opinion.
Yes, I agree. And it's just fun because you have stuff to talk about every week when you try a different game.
Yes, speaking of a different game, next week we will be streaming a new game. So whatever the game of the week is going to be, we don't know what that is yet, but it'll be something cool, I'm sure. So check it out on Tuesday, 9:30 p.m. Central Time. So looking forward to seeing anybody tune in for that. Otherwise, that wraps up our Outriders review. I don't know if we're done playing the game. I kind of want to see the rest of the story. So
Yeah, we're still playing it.
although you've Googled it a little bit, and
Don't Google
I was
it.
looking over your shoulder while you were doing it, and I
No.
read something that I wish I would not have.
Spoiler
now I
alert.
know
Yeah, don't Google
one of
it.
what happens to one of the characters, and I wish I didn't know that.
I
'cause
know,
now
because we are already attached to
yeah,
him.
we're gonna get to that point of the story. Gonna be like, yep, I knew this was gonna happen. I already knew this because we read about it. I don't like that. You have like a bad habit of reading things like ahead, so it's not like a surprise anymore. I don't know. I don't know how you do that. But
it's anxiety for
I
me.
can't
The
do
whole
it.
suspense is killing me. What if?
So, anyways, I still want to get through the story. So maybe we'll just speed through the rest of the primary quests before we jump into the next game. But we get to showcase the next one on Tuesday, and I can't wait to get into another new game.
Yeah.
That's all that we have for you this week. Hope to see you joining the stream on Tuesday, and we will talk to you guys next week.
Bye-bye.